Tropical storm Arthur is forming today at the latest for tomorrow morning, even expected by National Hurricane Center. But this storm to the north is strengthening, everybody. Now we have a level 2 for strong tornadoes over here for Illinois going through Indiana for tomorrow. Now you can see the latest information of what's going on with this system. Invest 90L, it is moving northeast at 9 miles per hour, maximum sustained winds 22 miles per hour, and you can see the track it more likely is going on as of the latest update. I'm showing this will more likely go a little further on the eastern side of this track, lasting longer over water, so it will strengthen up a little bit, and it will strengthen up some while it goes over landfall. Also, it could strengthen up some over here on landfall on the way out. Now, I know a lot of people have issues with that. There's nobody out there explaining to you, so I'm going to explain to you how this is even possible. As of making this video, and I will see this afternoon for the latest update, is at 60% in the next 48 hours, 60% in the next 7 days. Now, very important, environmental conditions are expected to be marginally conducive for the formation of a short-lived tropical storm later today or on Wednesday for tomorrow, especially if this system moves far enough offshore. And I'm still showing by the GEOS satellite that we're looking at a strong tropical storm potentially staying on the eastern track of those ensembles. Now, we already had a lot of crazy flooding happening for Texas into Louisiana as well, and still, regardless of formation, the main threat here is going to be flooding again. So everyone that is across southern and eastern Texas and portions of Louisiana and Mississippi should prepare for periods of intense rainfall over the next several days, which could produce widespread life-threatening flash, urban, and river flooding. Tropical storm watches and warnings could be issued later on this evening, more likely will be issued later on this evening, and I will update you on that as well. Now, just like a lot of tropical systems that comes in from the Western Caribbean or gets into our Gulf, our jet stream plays a major role. So as the jet stream is dipping through with that trough, it has very powerful winds aloft. And these winds aloft are actually strengthening as we go through Wednesday into Thursday for the storm to the north. So as we go closer towards the western coast with this system, it's going to tap into these winds aloft. Now this plays a role in the weather community, and pronounce it with me, it's called Bear Clinic Kick. Now it depends on who you ask. You might have said that wrong. Some people say Brana Clinic Kick. And here's what that looks like, everybody. Here's your meteorological term right there, and it's all because of a very high and very significant temperature variant. So as this gradient goes from cooler aloft, very cooler aloft, to warmer below, the winds aloft will pull this northward, and it'll get a very strong vertical lift out of it because of the strong winds from the jet stream. So the stronger this system gets, the higher it goes up into the altitude, then the winds aloft will tap into the jet stream winds. If it stays weak, it'll go under that trough of high winds and maybe strengthen a little later, but it won't be able to tap into the jet stream winds and get the Bear Clinic Kick. So this is how it strengthens back up over landfall. I've seen a lot of people having problems with this. This is the reason. Now you can see this when you look at the latest intensity models of Invest 90L, showing that we're more likely going to get that tropical storm Arthur as we go through later on this evening, if not overnight, and it will stay strong all the way towards Thursday as a tropical storm. Now there is a group of them that shows immediately right after the strengthening. This could go very quickly down towards a weakening. There's only a few saying it could stay that tropical storm. And you see on those, it could stay strong the whole time and stay a tropical storm, which would bring a stronger tornado threat, more damage and winds with it, and more flooding, more surge coming with the tropical moisture. Some even go crazy. This right here is showing a Cat 2 hurricane. Do not believe this. This right here is obviously the outlier. But you see some strengthening is possible later as well. So I'll pull this out so you can see this here and a more than likely outcome in the ensembles, everybody. Showing more than likely this will strengthen towards that tropical storm, but look how it stays over water the whole time. Now, if you remember yesterday, this line of the more than likely outcome of the ensembles brought this right over Galveston going towards Beaumont like this. So if you notice, it has shifted a little bit more towards the east. And then you can see the grouping of these, instead of having just one or two showing it could go haywire, you got a whole group over here showing this more likely will stay over landfall. And you can see it has shifted right here on this section. It has shifted further towards the east staying over landfall. So that would allow this to strengthen up even more before any land interaction, before any baroclinic kick that might help a little later as well. Intensity model shows that it will go somewheres towards that tropical storm, and there is that possibility for a strengthening to happen. You can see this here is more than just one ensemble. Then we have a mess later. This out here is out into the Atlantic. This is what we need to watch for. This is a bit concerning. That can go all the way towards a hurricane very quickly. Remember my first forecast, never turn your back to the Gulf. Now, the latest run by the Euro, which saw this in the first place, is good news. It's showing that we will get that tropical storm as we go late night into the early morning hours. And then by tomorrow, it could start weakening down by tomorrow evening that quickly, just being a tropical disturbance. Once again, it depends if it goes inland quicker or if it hangs out just a little bit more. It depends how strong it gets and gets pulled by these winds from the jet stream that it taps into. So the longer it waits, the more it's going to miss the winds from the jet stream, and it'll be able to stay over water a little bit longer. And you can see later on that we actually get another vortice later on, an upper level low that's trying to strengthen towards the ground level, trying to strengthen back up. But now the jet stream is moving along and is not intensifying the storm very well. Look how it's going back and forth. But still, even later, look at that. Could still strengthen right up to a hurricane out into the Atlantic. The GEOS satellite still sees it strengthen up quickly right along the coast to a strong tropical storm trying to become a low-grade hurricane, everybody. It's been showing this for a couple of days now. Now, this is only a 25% chance of this happening, but it is a possibility. If it strengthens up enough, the winds aloft, once again, will grab the jet stream winds. That would intensify it with the vertical baroclinic kick. And this could actually strengthen up to something right there by Louisiana and Texas, showing once it gets going, it could stay strong and move with the system to the north. If you look at this, they are parallel to each other and they are both moving together. So this means that the winds aloft are all intertwined together between this storm and this storm, keeping the strength going. Think about that. I got the time and date up here again so you can see this. As you go through this morning, all the way through this evening is going to bring a lot of strong storms all the way from Texas across Louisiana, Mississippi, even southern Alabama. Then this system's going to strengthen up. Then you're going to get that surge happening with the chance for the tornadoes as you go through this evening over here for Texas. Overnight into the early morning hours is going to transition over towards Louisiana into Mississippi. Then that's going to strengthen as that gets closer for tomorrow evening. This is where it's coming right on shore over here for Louisiana. Now, this is what you need to watch. This is bringing a threat for tornadoes and a surge of moisture and some very strong winds as that comes on shore. So be aware of that. Plus, while this is moving further north, you got to watch out for these cells forming further away. This could bring another tornado threat, even though it's not right next to the core. But right there along the coast of the West Bank, going across Louisiana, then it transitions for Wednesday evening over here for southern Mississippi. Be aware of a surge plus chances for tornadoes. Then as you go later into Thursday morning, it transitions into southern Alabama, into the panhandle of Florida. Now you're starting to see those loose cells getting flung around from this MCS, from Tropical Storm Arthur, bringing these impacts all the way till Thursday morning, bringing the winds, bringing the chances for the tornadoes, all the way through Thursday evening. Look at this. Look how it grows through Thursday evening. So now you have the chances for the tornadoes, the damage and winds, and it's bringing a lot of strong cells right here in front of it, all the way from Georgia into the Carolinas, everybody. Not to mention the storm to the north. We're only covering one. Look at this. Thursday evening going across the Carolinas with very powerful cells. Then it comes in later for southern Georgia on the back end of the system, hitting northern Florida as well. This is going to bring a big tornado threat, plus the flooding that's coming with it. So not only the rainfall we already got, more rainfall that's to come, which is a great thing for the drought, but it's making very dangerous conditions out there. The flooding is crazy. Link in the description of this video. Any one of my videos, go to my X account. I reposted the videos I found on the internet. A lot of crazy flooding going on. So rain still to come. You can see over here for Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama. Now it's 2 to 4 inches in this red, and this brown's going all the way from 5 to 6, 5 to 8 inches, and looking like a hot spot still over here by Jackson, Mississippi. This is right for the next 4 days going towards 5 days. And it carries strong across the southeast as well, through Alabama to Panhandle, Florida, through Georgia, and upstate South Carolina. So for today, we still have a big slight risk all the way from Texas all the way towards Georgia for flash flooding. And we still have a moderate section all the way from Corpus Christi through Houston, Beaumont, Lake Charles, all the way up towards Alexandria, Baton Rouge, all the way into Mississippi as well. Moderate section for flash flooding. So be aware of this. Is going to get stronger as we go through the coming days. For tomorrow, we have the system to the north bringing the flash flooding. You have a big slight risk, so be aware of this. While we have the slight risk in the south from Texas all the way towards Alabama to Panhandle, Florida. But we still have the moderate section over here from Houston all the way towards Lake Jackson, Galveston, Bay City, all the way towards Beaumont, Lake Charles, into Lafayette. So be aware of this. This is where you get a lot of problems over here along the West Bank for Louisiana. Now, as you go into Thursday, this is where it grows. Now you see it has shifted further towards the north. So now we have a big slight risk for flash flooding in all this yellow for Thursday. The moderate level risk is going to stay there for Louisiana, going through Mississippi, going all the way into Birmingham, Montgomery, Alabama. And it's going to be there for Friday as well, but it should taper down a little bit by then. But you see the big area for the flash flooding. But then we have Saturday and the next storm system we're going to be talking about, everybody, bringing that flash flooding right back again over here towards the central U.S. So for the other storm that we're going through for today, for our severe weather, you see all kind of marginals and slight risk. This is our tornado risk. We have it all the way across the south and the southeast, also here for the Great Lakes, and we even have a 5% more confidence for chances for a tornado. So here's your cities and states at risk for the tornado threat for today. Also the winds and the hail. So here's your cities and states at risk for the hail threat for today. And your wind threat as well. Here's your cities and states at risk for any high winds for today. Now the upgrade for tomorrow has gotten worse, everybody. We even have the level 2 now for tornadoes. So this right here is chance for EF3 or stronger tornadoes. So here's your cities and states at risk for the tornado threat for tomorrow, for Wednesday, and the wind threat as well. Chances for up to 75 miles per hour wind gusts in the significant severe, this black hatched area, maybe a little bit greater in this 30%. So here's your cities and states at risk for the damage and wind threat for Wednesday and the hail threat as well. Chances for 2 inches in diameter in this black hatched area. So here's your cities and states at risk for the hail threat for Wednesday. And still showing the winds aloft is going to be the main player for intensifying that storm, everybody. So you can see this at your 850 millibars. These are lower level winds. And you can see that it is bringing some stronger winds aloft over here for Illinois, Indiana, going towards western Michigan as we go through for today into Ohio later on for tonight. This will help intensify the storms, give it convection, give it lift as those come through for today. Now look for tomorrow. We get the system forming up in the Gulf, bringing all the impacts towards Louisiana as well. And we get the stronger winds building over here across the Great Lakes. Now these winds are getting crazy. It's getting towards 80 knot winds aloft. This is going to be a significant event, showing that it gets all the way towards 90 coming up aloft, 92. That is crazy. That's strong. That's going to intensify the winds below. And this is why you have a significant threat. So now, not only with Tropical Storm Arthur, what's happening to the north, you can see for today, we get some strong storms building up for northern Indiana as we go through the evening into eastern Michigan. Then we still get that second round that forms up. The second round is where you're better chance for a discrete supercell or maybe a semi-discrete supercell. And you could get an embedded cell in that line of storms from Michigan into northern Indiana. And as you go through the evening, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, it turns more into some winds and then it turns into scattered thunderstorms. But then you have the next storm system coming in from eastern Montana across the Dakotas as you go through for tonight into tomorrow morning. So as we go through for tomorrow, you see the storms building up for Iowa, western Illinois, into southern Wisconsin. But once you go through the evening, this is where you get the stronger winds aloft, you get the daytime heating, then the storm starts forming up strong. Over here for Indiana, going through northern Illinois, into western Ohio as well. Then we still get that linear event possibility through tomorrow evening, bringing the straight line damage and winds. Showing there's a chance it won't be all together and it'll be semi-discrete as well. And we could get some strong supercells in there that could spin up that chance for the strong tornado. So we need to watch out for that later on going towards northern Indiana with those stronger winds aloft. Then it turns into a damage and wind event, just bringing damage and winds across Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, into western Pennsylvania as well. So you can see the latest here, bringing a lot of 50 and 60 miles per hour wind gusts all the way from Montana, Wyoming, maybe even some 70 in those storm cells, especially higher elevations of Colorado. Also here for the Dakotas, Nebraska, eastern Kansas, Missouri, southern Minnesota, Iowa, going across Illinois, going across all across Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, bringing that 70. A 70 is all that brown. The highest is showing 99, but that's over here in the Gulf on what's happening with Tropical Storm Arthur, bringing the 50, 60, 70 right offshore, showing a big hot spot right there for the West Bank. So if you're on the West Bank of Louisiana, please pay attention. This storm is going to be pretty rough, definitely for you. And you can see up here to the north, all the way going into Canada, bringing the 60 to 70 or more miles per hour wind gusts. So for Thursday, we have our severe weather, we have a big marginal, and we have that big slight risk as well. So far, here's your cities and states at risk for Thursday. And then the next storm system we're going to talk about coming in on Saturday. We already got a 15% risk. So far, here's your cities and states in the Central Plains at risk for Saturday. Now, this is going to upgrade more and more as we go through today. This is as of the information right now I'm making this video. So I will see this afternoon for another video. You can see where this kicks out further towards the east on a lot of these ensembles. So please be aware if you are in Lafayette, New Orleans, we're already having some tornado warned cells right there going through for eastern Louisiana going towards Mississippi. Be aware of that. Showing in some nasty cells going through as well. So please be aware of this, especially for the West Bank. If you're on the West Bank, please make sure that all this is going to pivot towards you for tomorrow. And that's your latest update, everybody. So thank you again for your time. Hope you have a very great rest of your day. Now, before I go, a quick word from our Father. And I've been seeing some weird analytics going on my channel. So while I'm tapped into those above, I have a message for everybody. John 3, 16 through 18. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. Amen. Remember, everybody, all power, all glory, all honor always goes to our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life and forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen.